Thank you for joining the Point Taken podcast by Trimble. We're here at ConExpo today with the crew from Crew Collaborative. If you're listening or if you're watching us online and you hear the noise, ConExpo excitement at the Trimble booth. So let's kick it off. Let's go around, and I just want you to introduce yourselves and how you got into the construction industry, and then also how that led into being a part of Crew. So Kristina, if you want to start off.
Oh, no. I'm Kristina McMillan. My path into construction and into the space was strange. I grew up in the Minneapolis suburbs. I went to a pretty fancy high school, I guess you could say, and I was pushed very hard into college, but I was not a good student. Out of high school, I actually wanted to go into welding, but it turned out I was really smart because I took my SATs and I aced them. Got pushed into college, but the career path was concert production, festivals, bartending, lots of bartending, and then I became a high-end jewelry designer for 7 years and had a store doing that that was very lucrative, but I didn't feel rewarded, or like I didn't feel like it was something that was contributing positively to society. So I just made a leap into construction, left behind that business, and I've been in the space ever since. And Crew really, for me, is driven by the fact that I was a little upset that I was sort of led to believe that blue collar was not a tangible career for myself, or that it wasn't a respectable career. And so that has a lot to do with why I got into Crew. Yeah.
One note on that is you said pushed into college.
Yeah.
Your advice for someone today, like that's just getting out of high school, ready to go into college, or maybe into trades or something, or construction.
Yeah.
What would you advise? Like, college is still a good idea, or like just?
This is kind of like a Crew tagline for us. We don't think we'll get welcomed into high schools if we're like, screw college, it's never going to work. But we do feel very strongly that you should not go to college without a plan. And I think a lot of us would say that we wish the adults in our lives had said that. Even if you don't know what you want to do, you could take a year off and learn a trade, and that's a valuable thing. So
yeah. And there are, I guess, some good construction programs at universities.
Yeah,
so it's not like it's
for sure.
But
there's lots of construction jobs that need a degree. So
yeah, cool. All right.
I'm Zach Taylor. I'm this year's president of Crew. I own an excavation company in New England, and kind of similar to Kristina, I went to a private school. I was an athlete. I was told that I need to go to school to get a job that's going to pay me to live without college. So I got the opportunity to continue to play sports. So I was like, well, this is cool. And then when my sports eligibility was done, I hated being in school. I had never liked it. And I just went to work and never really realized how big of an opportunity was out there in skilled trades and doing things that made me happy as opposed to sitting in a classroom. I tried doing the whole corporate office thing. I worked for a marketing company for a year and just was sick of wearing a tie every day. So I left and went back into excavation, and I've been doing that for about 15 years. So when I met Kristina and some of the other people that founded Crew, 2020 ConExpo, it was a mission I got behind. Just I felt like I wish somebody had just given me the opportunity to know what was out there outside of just strolling in and signing up for some degree track that I had no idea, which, yeah, to our tagline, if you will, like, there's a lot of great jobs out there. If you need to go to college for them, that's great, and there's nothing wrong with doing something different, but at least have a plan and know kind of what you want to do, or kind of what direction you want to do. Take some time off, try something different, but just being forced into an educational setting where you have no clue and no direction, it's expensive, and I don't even use anything that I didn't use. If we can help people, at least give them the options, give them the opportunity, show them that, but it's kind of what we're here.
Yeah. You bring up sports, which I grew up playing sports too, and I feel like there's a bit of an identity. Like, you grew up, you're like, I am a basketball player, baseball player.
How'd you know?
And then, but then a lot of people, especially you play for a long time, and you get out of it,
you don't have any.
Who are my friends?
Yeah, you don't. You ever remember the first year I didn't play basketball? Like, I used to get this magazine called East Bay, and it sent out all the basketball shoes every year, and I got it, and I'm flipping through the pages, and I'm like, what do I do? What do I do now? I can't play anymore. Like, my life's over. 21 years old.
Do you think a lot of people find that in the construction industry. They kind of find that like
I think that you can find that culture. You can find something that you're passionate about. Like I do excavation. I don't have an interest in pouring concrete or paving or swinging a hammer. I barely can read a tape measure, but I enjoyed. Barely can read anyway. I was an athlete. Didn't do well in school, but I enjoy running an excavator and tying in waters and sewers, and that is now like you said, identity-wise, I used to be an athlete. I used to do these things, and now that's transitioned to this is what I do. There's now a process for this. I have to do these things. I think it's good for people who are like me in the middle of some sort of identity crisis.
Yeah. Last parallel to sports on rivalries.
Yeah.
What is your favorite like fun rivalry in construction of like who always jabs at someone else?
Oh, Caterpillar versus John Deere.
Okay, brands. I was thinking more like your job, like there's the excavator.
Oh, the
operators,
excavators, like it's us against the world, man. Like I don't know if you've ever done much enemy.
No competition. Yeah.
But everybody blames the site guy. We're the first people there. We make the biggest mess. We take up the entire place. So yeah, it's the site guys against the world.
Especially the concrete guys.
Oh yeah, concrete guys, siding guys. Yeah.
All right, let's go.
I'm Alex Parker. I own an excavating company out of Ogden, Utah. My background's a little bit different in year-round way. My dad owned a landscaping company before I was born, so I've been running equipment since I was little. Or being born into it, you're used to. So worked in it through high school all the way up till about 10 years ago. And I was like, I needed to change. So I actually became an electronics technician and worked on computer chairs, circuit boards, that kind of stuff. Complete reversal. After 4 years, I realized I was meant to be in the, and so the company I worked for, I had every other Friday off. So I started our company. I was like, I'm just going to do little small projects, little yard gradings, little RV pads at that. And within 7 years, we're a full site civil contractor doing all the utilities, grading, building pads, all on stack. So yeah, I realized it's a lot of fun. Spent a little bit of time, a little bit of money getting certified to be more or less a computer technician, work on them, and realized that I just didn't have the heart for it, didn't have the love for it. Yeah, something about this industry is prideful, I would say. We all have pride in it, and yeah. It's nice to put your hands on something and then drive by it years later and be like, I built that.
It's one of my favorite lines that built such good to say.
Yep.
With your kids.
And they do, over and over and over again.
Yeah. So to start it off, Kristina, tell us what Crew Collaborative is. Yeah. What do you know about it?
Yeah, high level speaking, Crew Collaborative is a 501c3 nonprofit. We're based out of Minneapolis, but we are national and someday global. We focus on workforce development, specifically in the construction field. We did start in the earth moving space. We're expanding more into skilled trades, really anywhere that you would consider blue collar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. You guys have anything to add?
No, I mean, that was a very good explanation of what we do. We do a lot with schools. It's like our head program. He's a program called Classroom Talks, where we take the trades that we have and we talk to students and summer camps and all around the country digitally through Zoom or
Zoomy.
Meet, whatever, Zoom me in, and just show kids the opportunities that are out there that they may not know about, may not have been aware of. Just try and show them what their choices are. If school's not 100% what they want to do when they get out of high school, what do you do? Yeah. And there's definitely a need there, and that's what we're trying to fill from the education scale.
You know, in addition, I would say we're building a community of people like ourselves, right? We want to make as many friends in the industry and connect with as many like-minded individuals as possible, because it's important to know and relate with people that have the same types of goals as you, and construction people are fun.
I was on the website and you've listed out the values, Alf. One of the values was, holy shit, you did that.
Yeah,
we can do hard things
favorite.
at training, internship, and opportunity. But I don't know if I actually understood it, so can you explain that? What does that mean to you?
So we came up with these back in 2020, and I do just really love that one, because I think that as an organization, we want to kind of give people, and especially high schoolers, that feeling of like, you can actually do this. like, holy crap, you did that, and that's really cool. And we think that it's important for them to know that with the right training and path into construction, like they can be standing there one day and saying like, holy shit, I did that. And that's really the mindset.
Got it.
Yeah.
And when you
It's a motivational tactic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the word shit,
It's cool.
kids like that.
yeah, kids always love it when we say that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But a lot of it is,
This industry, that's awesome.
Yeah.
you don't really realize when you're going down a road and you see a vacant lot, and then 2 years later there's a skyscraper in it.
Right.
And you're like, I was a part of that. That's that holy shit moment where you're like, I did that. And every time I drive down that road, I will see that. You take pride in that. And it's something that just comes from within inside of you that gets you excited.
And our industry is one of the few that you can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, have that feeling. So it's cool.
And you're intro to crew, because all of you are kind of different regions. So like,
So how I got in with Crew was we've all followed each other prior to Crew, and then once they got it all started, I was just like, this industry's cool. I'm gonna post pictures about it, show how cool it is. My kids would get involved with stuff, and that's what it is just showing the next generation how cool the blue collar industry. That's what a lot of Crew is about. So I started out as ambassador, just promoting the industry because I liked taking pictures of what we did, showing how cool it was, how much fun it is, the views we get to work with, the weather and all that. And then worked into where I was the president last year. So worked my way up to the exec board and been doing that. Still fun.
and Kristina, how would you, someone like very new to Crew Collaborative, like, how would you describe it to them? Like, so are you on the system?
We are a very grassroots.
Wendig Films.
We're a workforce development grassroots program on a national basis. You could say we're going international because we do have a lot of people that are in different countries that are interested in getting involved and how they can do it further. But I will also say that we're an organization that was obviously very needed, because no matter how many times we've tried to like scale back or like not do the things, there's such a strong need in the industry for this type of work that we just keep showing up. And it's important. One of our biggest programs is called Classroom Talks, and I think that that's what most people know us for. We take a virtual group or a virtual panel of people working in all different types of jobs in the industry, and we zoom in directly to like middle school and high school classrooms to teach them kind of what a day in the life looks like, money, pros and cons, boats. It's like it's
Slide it in everywhere.
Yeah. And then we also have a program that was the ambassador program, which Alex mentioned, where we train industry professionals on how to go out into the industry and recruit, or community and recruit, because that was a big roadblock we kept finding, is people didn't know how to talk about the industry.
Yeah. Now, if you're a teacher that is hearing this, like, oh, we would love for this to get a Zoom situation going on, what's the best way to get signed up for that?
Go to our website. We have a form on our website to sign up. But yeah, that's probably our biggest challenge, is getting teachers to actually ask for it. So we've got the people to do the talks.
Back is your message on that.
100%, yeah.
Okay, or schools, okay. And then on the other side, do you have a need for people that do want to come and join and speak and be on the sharing side?
I mean, we're always looking for presenters. One of the, I shouldn't say hard parts, but one of our challenges is that we end up with a lot of the same trades that represent Crew. Alex and I both own excavation cartographies. Kristina was consulting for an excavation company before she got the job that she had. A lot of other board members are operators, project managers for dirt companies. We were very site civil heavy, so we would have different perspectives from like somebody that consults versus a business owner. For a while, I was just an operator in the union. So we could give you a little bit of a different perspective, but we were rolling in basically excavation people to talk about trades. So we didn't have good plumbers, electricians, other things that kids might be interested in. That tinkering kid that likes to solder might want to hear from an electrician. We didn't have that. So over the last 4 or 5 years, we've been able to expand our trade network, if you will. to be a little bit more, we've tailored some of the podcast and Zoom calls to what the school is asking for, because you can put in there, if you're, hey, we're a welding shop. Two kids are learning to weld. Could we get a couple of welders, things like that. But we're always open for people, any walks of life and trades, to just pop in, send us an email. We'll have a quick chat when you hear about them. Send you an invitation to talk to their classroom.
Yeah, and you don't have to be a good speaker.
No, you really don't.
No, we let him do it.
Yeah.
So it's
Actually, the less you are, the more reaction you get from the kids.
Right, that's real. You're just real about it.
They don't want a sales pitch. They want something that feels relatable. And that's where we've got our best feedback from like teachers, administrators, and students. They'll remember, oh, Alex did this.
we do try to target younger presenters.
Yeah.
Like if we can keep people like under the age of 40-ish, I think it makes them more relatable.
Sure.
For the students. And not to say that we don't. I'm 44 and I still talk on them sometimes, but I'm really cool. So yeah, that works.
You're aging out. It's okay.
Yeah.
Someone in their early stages of their career also is going to have that kind of
100%.
This is why I chose it. And
Yeah.
have that.
Yeah, we had a guy on one of our earlier classroom talks who was in Utah in like a mine or something. And he's like 24 years old. And he was like turned his camera around to show like what he was looking at. And he's like, and I just bought my first house last year. And I was like, wow, well, I want to be like him. So surely a high school student might feel like that. But yeah.
You've also talked a little bit about, you got president, past president. I think you're all board of directors as well. And there's ambassadors and there's volunteers. It's looking on the website. What else is a good way to get involved as far as those names?
You gonna take that one?
Yeah, I'll take that one. It's really, you get what you put into it.
Okay.
If you want to be like an ambassador and you just do your everyday job and you post on social media, you promote the industry, that's kind of the simplest way to do it. You're really passionate about it and you want to make a true difference, then you can work up to being like on our board, helping with our different committees that we have, planning for events like this, doing podcasts, doing talks, stuff like that. And then you can work up to being like the management side of our exec board that actually runs the day-to-day stuff, really plans everything and the future of Crew while the industry is changing with it.
So you're really open to people bringing in different skills too. Like, don't worry about trying to figure yourself. Am I a partner, ambassador? Just, hey, I want to help, and then you can find a good.
And also know that we're all a bunch of blue-collar people.
Knuckleheads.
We don't get paid for it. All the work 2 years to come to it. Exactly. And so some people will think like they're going into like a meeting with a bunch of suit and ties. There's some people who don't wear shirts. I mean, we're running equipment while we're in our Zoom meetings talking about the future of Crew and the future of the industry. So it's a very blue-collar, a lot of fun.
Can you talk a little bit about how Trimble got involved? Is that something where Crew reached out to Trimble, or did Trimble reach out to you? Or
One of our board members sells Trimble, so he has a relationship with some of the folks over here. So there's been a discussion that was opened, and we had thought about coming to Dimensions one year. So we engaged them in a conversation, and when we met them for the first time, they were just super stoked about the whole kids thing. I mean, everything today is on your phone, video games, TikTok this, Instagram Reel that. Like, the technology and the options that Trimble has and the things that you can do with the technology that they have is attractive to that kid that is used to playing digital games or screwing around with his computer, or building, you can build the models for all the site stuff. So when you take the kids of this generation and like what their thing is, and you take the technology that Trimble represents and builds and develops and pushes every day, and you see what that does, there's a relationship there. So they were really excited to come on board as a sponsor. We've gone to 2 of the Dimension shows. We'll go back this year for our 3rd. And you guys have been really great in just integration and collabing on things, and including us and vice versa. That's kind of how that went. We're looking forward to just continuing to grow our relationship.
Yeah, I know it is appreciated in the industry what you do, because I'm on the marketing Trimble, and we hear a lot of stories that are published about there's not enough workforce, not enough education. but it's like, well, somebody going to do anything about it? And so to see you out there really just taking on that, like we are doing it, like we're tackling that, is really good to see it. So yeah.
Yeah, been the big, like, for me, I have a hard time wrapping my head around the fact of like lack of action when we have certain problems. And this industry is such an industry of problem solvers, right? We go on a site, we make things happen, we build things up, and then they're there forever, hypothetically. And for some reason with workforce, that proactive piece is a little bit more difficult. And I think it's because there's that relational piece. Like, we have to go out and actually interact with young people in order to make a difference. And it's easier to say like, oh, it's the kids, or it's they don't want to work or whatever. But in reality, we need them so much more than they need us. And so being able to get beyond your ego a little bit, and there is pride in industry, and to be able to take that pride and turn it into a positive momentum, and brag about it, and it's just like the humble brag you can do, like talking about all the cool stuff that we get to do and say, hey, there's a space for you. I mean, that's the proactive piece. Mm-hmm.
And you can make a good living doing it as well.
Yeah, there is that. Yeah.
Very rewarding. All right, you said a little bit about it's U.S., but maybe going global one day. Is anything else on that, or?
I am like an innovator when we talk about like different types of idea people. I know that I'm probably the person that's roadblocked crew a little bit more than anything. They call me the founder of it. I think there's probably a group of us, but I'm definitely like an aggressive personality. So I have to own the fact that there's a lot of ideas I put out there like that we want to do growth-wise. Yeah. And we've done a lot of running before walking. So yes, the idea is to go global. I think last ConExpo, I was really wanting to do that right then. Okay. But we're trying really hard to establish our programs that we do really well, and like put together the processes and do this in a way that it's going to last far beyond any of our careers. Yeah. But yeah, it would be awesome to go officially global and have like chapters and physical meetings and things like that. And there's other programs we want to put into place. Yep. But I gotta like pump my brakes because that's really annoying to people. Like, kind of like our executive director Maya. Like, you got to respect the fact that they need time to do things.
Yeah, sometimes you do need a certain process on it.
We want to do it right, so we're making sure each step we do. We want to be here a long game. Make sure each step we do is right before we expand and then realize, oh, we messed up here. We got to shut that down, but fix this. So.
Yeah.
It kind of spreads that when you're doing a good thing, especially with social media, like the way people are connected. It is really neat to see how, what was it saying that like one of your friends from Australia, like you've been hanging out with, that was saying, okay, like the construction industry is global, whether you like it or not. Right. So I think what you're saying is it naturally kind of was doing that, and so you're trying to figure out how to.
Well, technology makes it so easy now. Yep. So, yeah.
Again, that's what makes our partnership with Trimble so great, because you guys are like,
it's easy to help kind of augment that message.
Exactly. So it's not just like a siloed part of what we do. It can, when produced properly, we have the opportunity to expand it regionally, which is one of our goals, especially for the Classroom Talks. We'd like to be able to have regional chapters, if you will, and then be able to have at least an ambassador, or if it's local board member, go in and moderate the Classroom Talk in person, and then have the panel on, or if we have a whole panel in a school would be great, but that's a lot of getting people together. Yeah. And we're all a volunteer board, like Alex said, from all around the country, but the idea is to continue to grow that out. Scale.
Yeah. Well, it's fortunate you did this podcast, and this is a very huge podcast. It's like mostly my mom probably gonna watch.
That's awesome.
Your mom knows how to watch a podcast.
Hi, Mom.
She's the only audience member.
If she knows a teacher.
She's a music teacher.
So Mrs. Mike's mom, if you are listening, if you could connect us to your school district, that would be easy.
All right. We'll do a construction and music. I think there's maybe a good balance.
Construction guys, they jam out to Schneid's Wayne all day, every day.
This is true. Strange but true.
Someone else I was talking to yesterday they wanted to do this social media thing about when you're operating like the dozer excavator, like what's
What you're
going on in your
listening
mind. Well, and maybe it's I'm just listening to music, but maybe it's like I'm thinking about life. So, but cool. Anything else you want to leave the audience with? Any takeaways or?
Yes.
Yes.
Texas.
I think that
Kristina does.
I always do.
She's always gonna close
I
us
got
out.
something to say. In the vein of being proactive, if there's one thing that anybody listening to this, your mom, could do is really connect us with high schools. Like, we're not kidding. If you have a high schooler, if you live in a city with a high school, which I think is most cities, if you can reach out and find the right person, usually there's a career placement person in a high school. We want to talk to those people really bad, and it takes so much legwork to get in contact with those people. It's so much time. So the more people we can get to do that, the better.
That's good. All right. It's good call to action.
Yeah.
Yep.
You guys got anything else?
It was it. Send us your schools.
I'm not going to do anybody to the mouse. Finish with that.
Thank you for joining the podcast today. It's great to meet all of you. So enjoy the rest of your week here.
Thank you for having us. Appreciate it.
Thanks for joining.